World War II is often said to have begun on September 1st, 1939, but by the time the first shots were fired, the war had already claimed its first life. Not a soldier, not a combatant, a civilian killed quietly before the world understood that war had begun. His name was Franciszek Honiok. He was a Polish civilian known locally for his political views, not for any military role. He was not carrying a weapon. He was not part of an army. Yet his life would become part of the opening act of the largest conflict in history. In the days before the invasion of Poland, the German regime sought justification for war. Tension along the border was high, and propaganda demanded evidence of Polish aggression. What followed was not an accident, but a constructed narrative. On the night of August 31st, German operatives staged an attack on a German radio station in Gleiwitz. The operation was designed to appear as a Polish assault. It was meant to provide a public excuse for invasion the following morning. Franciszek Honiok was arrested, transported to the site, and killed. He did not die in combat. He was murdered to serve a narrative. His body was left at the scene as fabricated proof that Germany had been attacked. The body of a civilian was used as political evidence. In official statements, this staged incident was presented as justification for war. The truth was concealed and the victim's identity erased from public acknowledgement. The invasion of Poland began hours later. The story of Polish aggression spread through official channels. The first civilian death of World War II was not the result of chaos or miscalculation, but of deliberate planning. For decades, Franciszek Honiok's death remained largely unknown. He received no recognition as the first victim. His name was absent from early narratives of the war, overshadowed by the scale of violence that followed. This death reveals something essential about World War II. Civilians were not drawn into the war later. They were present from its first moment. Violence against non-combatants was not a consequence of escalation. It was part of the beginning. What happened to Honiok would be repeated millions of times. Civilians would be arrested, displaced, and killed, not as accidents, but as tools of policy and control. The logic of total war was already in motion. When we ask when World War II truly began, we must consider not only dates and declarations, but victims. The war began when a civilian was killed to justify violence that had already been decided. The first confirmed civilian casualty of World War II did not die in a battle. He died alone, unnamed, and used as evidence for a lie. Before the war was announced, before it was acknowledged, it had already taken its first human life.